Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Hello, friends and listeners. I'm Natalie Jean, and I, along with Amber Nelson, host the show Someplace Underneath, the show that you are, in fact, currently listening to. We are on a season break at the moment, and so in the meantime, we are uploading our live streams from Twitch over to this feed. The Twitch shows are Wednesday evenings at twitch.tv/LPNTV, and then they will be uploaded to this feed a couple days later. So if you're new here, we do have much more structured shows during the seasons, but right now in between, you can listen to us spout off about current events and news stories that are happening right now. So thank you guys so much for your patience, for your patronage, and for your focus and attention while you fold your laundry. Someplace underneath.
What if you just like pooed at somebody? You just
Like projectile?
Yeah. Like to get back at him. So, oh yeah, you know what I mean?
If I had that aim,
You could.
maybe I would.
I farted on a dog one time and it lost its mind. If you ever want to have a good time, I recommend farting on a dog.
Was it my dogs when you were watching them?
No. I would never fart on your dogs.
Oh my God. Are you fart abusing my dog?
I would never fart on your dogs. It was a fluffy white poodle, the one with the crazy eyes. Deserved it.
And it freaked out?
Yeah. Because it's all my particles in my guts. I think it loved it, to be honest.
Oh, no. It fell in love with you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
It didn't know if it liked it or not. I think it did.
Welcome to Someplace Underneath. I'm Natalie Jean.
I'm Amber Nelson. Hi.
We're being silly.
Silly. We got little bruises on us that I don't know where they come from.
I'm always covered in them.
Right.
It's just, I'm not in danger. I mean, I guess I'm kind of in danger, but like self-inflicted. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not.
No one's beating you up.
No.
Carmelita's not beating you up at home.
Oh, it'd be cute though if she did.
Her eyes, she's so funny. Oh. Henry is the danger.
No, he's a very gentle man.
Oh, are we lagging? Someone says they're lagging. Is everybody okay? I think we're good.
Or is that just an insult?
A hype train is close, everybody. I know I like to say things like hype train is close and thank you for subscribing because we're doing this all on, streaming. Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Whoa. But we are going to go back to our new season very soon, and we're looking forward to it.
We are. I am very excited about it. And we'll still be live streaming. I don't know if we're going to keep on the same schedule when we're in season. We have to talk about that.
Right. Or we just get in a hole. Should we just go crawl in a hole and talk about fucking murder?
You guys, I gotta have the breaks. Have the breaks because it's hard out there, man.
You know what I realized today? And I talked about this on Brighter Side, so you'll hear it. I've been really mad lately, and I think it's because I'm like safe for the first time in a long time.
Oh yeah, totally.
I felt like something was wrong with me. And then my roommate was like, it's because you feel safe, you're allowed to feel these feelings. Because when you're in this constant state of like being homeless, you know, that I'm not allowed to feel angry because I have to like do 10 things right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely a not allowed thing, and it's also just We've talked about that a little bit on the show, that mental illness is technically a privilege because if you are trying to survive day to day, you can't address
who's going to go to a doctor,
mental health
pay
at
for
all.
Kofi's or whatever.
Yeah. So it sucks. I wish it wasn't that way, but definitely I think that's something a lot of people could probably relate to, that you really, once you are okay, all of the other things you've been compartmentalizing to survive come like knocking on the door, and they're like, hey, you relaxed? No, you're not. Guess what? We're here.
Yeah.
All back in the back. Remember me? Remember the thing you pushed away for a long time because you had other stuff? Well, now I'm here because the other stuff's gone. But then you do get to face that, and that's actually really a gift too most of the time.
Yeah.
Not to belittle people's struggles. It's really hard, but I definitely am
relate.
grateful, that I've had those times.
And it's good to like feel your feelings, and anger is an emotion, and get it out. I went and did push-ups in the park this morning. Yes, I was crying while doing push-ups. Someone might have taken a photo of me. Who knows? But like I like to get it out like that. And
to be honest, in the LA park, I think that's just run of the mill woman crying, working out. I do think it's nice that we have a lot of parks where you can use like equipment out in the park.
Yeah,
that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love being in LA. Physical fitness. Demon Limerick agrees with me. This is so true. Thank you.
Megan Lee _M. Did you guys have a chance to watch Perfect Wife on Hulu? We are going to talk about it a bit today. I did watch it.
Ooh, and a hype train is incoming. Thank you, everybody.
Before we actually get into some of that, I really wanted to talk quickly about a woman who's currently missing. Her name is Taylor Casey. She went missing from a yoga retreat on June 20th in the Bahamas. And it's obviously going to be traumatic either way, but it's been a really weird reaction from the yoga retreat, in my opinion. I think a lot of people kind of feel that way. They actually just posted about her being missing like 12 hours ago, even though that happened like almost 6 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it's in the Bahamas. It's actually right near the Atlantis resort. You know that big fancy one you see all the ads for? It looks kind of fun, not gonna lie.
Yeah, with the water slides and everything.
Yeah.
They probably just don't want like bad press.
Well, that's what it kind of feels like. And I don't know. Let's just put up a little bit of a clip about this story.
First of all, that was fast. You got there and you were able to go to the retreat, the yoga retreat today. What did you learn?
I was fast, only about a 35-minute flight from Miami. It's quiet here this time of year, Ashley, almost eerily quiet. That bridge in the background there, that goes over to Paradise Island. The big buildings back there, that's Atlantis, the big, fancy, famous Atlantis resort. This retreat is pretty close to Atlantis, which you're about to see. This is a 41-year-old woman from Chicago. From what we can tell, works at a hospital, really into yoga, has done yoga for the past 15 years, wanted to come to this very, very well-known, prestigious ashram, as they call it. You mentioned endorsed by Gwyneth Paltrow's brand, wanted to get a certification in a specialized kind of yoga, but then vanished from this piece of paradise. And we went out there. It wasn't exactly easy to get there this afternoon. Take a look. It's not easy to get to the Sivanandra Ashram, the yoga retreat where Taylor Casey was staying. There's really no roads to get there here on Paradise Island, on this part of the island, so the only way that we could find is to walk down the beach. So we made it to the ashram where she was staying. You can see it's pretty quiet right now, but there are people still staying here. There's some smaller buildings on this side. There's larger buildings over here, and it's very, very close to the Atlantis resort. Those big pink buildings in the distance, that's a big, big tourism destination here on Paradise Island.
I'm not seeing anybody searching on the beach.
Yeah, there is
Or all
nobody
around.
searching. No, I haven't seen anybody searching either. That's why I was surprised you didn't say. I was thinking there'd be like flyers.
Oh, well, you can go in there.
Hi. Do you know have anything new about the missing woman, Taylor Casey?
No, we
No?
heard nothing.
Okay.
We've heard nothing, so you won't get any information from us this evening.
Can I leave my card? Is that okay? My business card?
Yeah.
Okay. It really is just stunningly gorgeous out there, Ashley. But I was surprised that there were no flyers anywhere. There were no posters. I thought maybe in the lobby that some of the guests would know what was going on. A lot of them have just checked in this week, so they weren't aware that a woman went missing last week. But that surprised me. I even saw a couple other missing persons flyers on the road for other people, but nothing for this woman from Chicago.
Yeah, it's super sus that no one's searching, because I was like, oh, she could have gone in the ocean, or, but if no one's searching, that seems a little foul play.
Not only that, so, okay, there's a couple questions. I was wrong, actually. She went missing on the 19th. The last time her family was contacted on the 20th. I apologize. So she was last seen by the retreat on the 19th. She didn't show up for her classes on the 20th, and then they called her family and were just like, hey, she's not here, and then didn't do, the family had to kind of interject a little bit. And so, yeah, you saw just there him going in and asking them what's going on and them being very flippant about it.
Yeah. Like the back to him, just be like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I don't think that they did something to her, but that reaction is really bizarre to me, and it makes me feel like they just don't want to rock the financial boat.
It is a Gwyneth Paltrow yoga studio. Let's be honest, they're probably not very nice.
I am going to go on record saying I immediately became more judgmental. When I was like, oh, this is a goop thing. It is, fair to ask, would they have cared more if it was a white middle-class lady? Because it seems like that's their main clientele there. I don't know. They just that's a picture of her up right now. They just on their Facebook posted that she was missing, like I said, I think maybe 15 or so hours ago. And this is June 26th. This happened on June 19th was the last time she was seen. So it seems like they got pressured into it, which is such a strange tactic to take to try to preserve something. I don't know. What a horrible thing to do.
That's horrible. I mean, the Gwyneth Paltrow thing, she's all about putting diamonds in your vagina or whatever. It wouldn't shock me if they were just like, so we're going to go in a 120-degree hot yoga room and we're not going to have breakfast. And then she might have something happened there.
I mean, that is pure. I mean, we can't.
Speculation.
Yes, I don't think that they necessarily did anything to her. There has been some talk. I don't know where this is exactly coming from, but there is rumors that her phone was found in the ocean. I don't know how true that is, but there is always the chance that she swam out too far. However, there's no evidence of that right now, and there's not seemingly a search going on. The Bahama police detectives have now become involved, but it just seems bizarre to me that they're just going on about their business at the retreat, and the people who were there with her at the same time are gone, and new people come in and they didn't say, because what if this is somebody dangerous on the island? What if they're being put at risk? And also, do something to help this woman. I mean, her family's in Chicago. They can't be there. I don't know. It's so gross.
That is gross.
But
get a helicopter, sir. I know it's hard to find someone in the ocean because the ocean's so big, but get at least a helicopter.
And that's not on the retreat, that's gonna have to be on the Bahamas. But I'm being a little judgy about how the retreat's been handling this. It's definitely not helping the situation, and maybe making it worse. I don't know. We're really sad for her family. I hope that she's found. We can't do a ton from here, but just put her face out there. So few people would have been on that island with her at the same time. It's hard to even put out the call to be like, if you saw anything, if you know anything, because it's literally a little island called Paradise Island. That's really out of the way.
It sounds dystopian. Paradise Island is, where you go for something bad to happen.
I mean, it is beautiful, right? But I'd be scared personally.
Bianca the Ferris says, when I was there, they were very sketchy about taxis. So they've been a local.
Yeah, but when they're on that retreat, they're not really going anywhere as far as I know. But it doesn't mean that foul play couldn't have happened in some way. And the retreat's sort of acting like, sort of being like, well, she probably just went off to party. She didn't.
No.
She was learning. She wanted to do yoga. She's not just off at a nightclub.
No, she paid a lot of money for this. I'm guessing it's a lot.
Based on the clientele that I've seen, it seems like it would be a lot of money. Yeah, it seems like, especially if it's advertised on Goop, they're not doing it for the peace of mind of people kind. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look at how much it is. What's the resort called?
It is called Sivan. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sivananda.
I'm gonna look up
Ashram Yoga Retreat.
Paltrow. This is such great TV. I'll look it up later. But I'm gonna say $12,000.
Who knows?
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, so, we're just really sorry to her family. I hope that they find her and that she is okay. She could still be somewhere and be alive and be okay. So hopefully she is. And yeah, Snickety Thwip seems to be nothing to see here message that the resort is putting out there. Let's just not talk about it and upset our paying customers. Totally. What? That's like, how dark.
I would want to know.
Also, how cruel could you possibly be? Like, this woman needs your help. I don't know. That's just great. I don't know. I don't understand. It's a yoga retreat. It's supposed to be like all about like spiritual enlightenment and shit.
I don't know. Hippies are mean sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of them are like secret conservatives, which is weird. I think around 2020 that happened.
Oh yeah, it was the meshing of worlds with the new age medicine stuff for sure.
They're like, we're not going to take the vax. Oh, it's like the hands held.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Demon Lemur Nick, just speaking on my ass, but I always felt retreats and whatnot can get very culty. I think it can be. I think that a lot of them are completely innocent, especially when you're in and out. You're not like, signing your name to some, whatever universal pact that you go into. But because retreats can be really fun. I do kind of I do my aerial retreats and stuff, and those are always a really good time.
I want to do a silent retreat, but I don't think I can. I think I'd be a bitch and just be like, blah, blah, blah.
Our friend Sonia has done a couple of those.
Sonia's the loudest girl I know.
I know. She did
went to a silent retreat. Mm-hmm. She's covered in tattoos, blue hair, life of the party, always like doing the worm on the dance floor.
She did a silent retreat.
Whoa. She did it. I guess that's what it's for. Silent retreats are for the loudest people in the room.
Yeah, because it's the challenge of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not really a talker, it's like, what are you even doing here?
It's like every day.
You're always on a silent retreat. No, we probably need an Amber one day.
A lot of people are agreeing. I couldn't stop talking.
No. Yeah, so, sending lots of good energy and vibes and hope for Taylor, Casey, and her family.
Summer's here, and with weekend getaways, celebrations, and more on your calendar, Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dress season ever. From playful prints and breezy fabrics to 70s-inspired looks and bright handbags, discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Reformation, Veronica Beard, Farm Rio, Levi's, and more. It's easy, too, with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Plus, Nordy Club members enjoy free 2-day shipping on thousands of items in select areas. Shop today in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Another case that I wanted to bring up that I don't have a ton of information on because I had not heard of this story at all until today. Has anyone heard of the Sandra Birchmore case out of Massachusetts?
I didn't hear it until you mentioned it.
I wanted to talk about it with just my limited information because it's giving me vibes like Mica Miller. And we've talked about a lot of these kind of corruptions before on the show. This is to do with police corruption. This is a young woman who was found deceased in 2021, and it was deemed a suicide by hanging.
Hanging? Women usually don't do that. We usually take pills.
Well, it's more than that, too. So it turns out that this young woman, if you want to put her photo up on screen. So Sandra came from a little bit of a troubled back life story. Her family, a lot of them had passed away. She was we would consider a vulnerable tween.
Yeah, she's very young.
And so she did what a lot of people would do to think that they could put their kids somewhere safe and to protect them, which is to put her in the area where they're from is called Stoughton. I think I'm saying that correctly. So their police force had an explorers program. So she was learning about the police force from the age of 13.
She could have been a cop.
And it's supposed to be like an enrichment program for like people who might be kids who might be vulnerable. And guess who shows up at places where kids are vulnerable?
Bad people.
Predators. So starting at the age of 15, it turns out that there were 3 police officers who there's a lot of evidence with as far as like messages and videos and things that were saying her regularly.
She's 15?
From 15 until she was deceased at 23.
Oh my, tiny, tiny baby.
Yeah.
Already from a bad home. Damn.
Yeah. So do you want to put the pictures up of those 3 guys? Basically the same dude in photocopied. So it's these 3 men that you're looking at on the screen if you're watching.
Why is he smiling?
I mean, because it's their ID photos.
Oh, I thought it was just like the mugshots.
Oh, no, don't worry. They didn't go to jail.
What?
No, they got fired. So it's pretty much the same.
But they were assaulting her sexually. A minor.
They didn't have forensic evidence. I guess it was just through texting and stuff like that was the suggestion.
That's enough.
It's not, unfortunately, especially if you're a cop. So they lost their jobs and are just living their life. God knows they're probably being paid still. I mean, that's me just guessing, but yeah. So she had been a part of this program from 2010 to 2016, and she was pregnant whenever they found her body.
That's forensic evidence.
I don't know. Okay, again, I haven't gotten all the information on this. I don't know if they tested the DNA of the baby or not. I don't know, but it's believed that it's one of the men, the police officers who was abusing her and had groomed her. So the man's name is Matthew Farwell, and there's also video footage showing that he was the last person to leave her apartment 4 days before she was discovered. So he had gone, there's surveillance of her apartment complex and him walking out. Mm-hmm. And he was the last person they believe ever saw her alive.
And no one's seen, like she wasn't at the Walgreens, a day after?
No. She didn't leave again after that
what?
video.
And 4 days is a long time to not leave your house. Like even shut-ins have to like go get some medicine or a slice of pizza or something.
Yeah, so this report further alleges that Matthew Farwell was the last known person to have seen Birchmore alive, having been seen in surveillance video at her apartment for 20 minutes, 4 days before she was found dead. So in a 2022 press conference regarding a report stemming from the internal investigation, McNamara previously alleged the former officer Matthew Farwell began an inappropriate sexual relationship with Birchmore beginning when he was 27 and she was 15. The report also alleges that Farwell's twin brother and fellow officer William Farwell and Robert C. Devine, another former cop, similarly engaged in inappropriate relationships with her. So yeah, you're that right. It's twin brothers and another cop. And so there's all of this going on. There has been a lot of, I have never seen this case. If anyone has ever sent it, I didn't see it. But this is like something that apparently people have been fighting for in the community because nothing was really done about this. And it was deemed self-harm. And now there's another big case coming right out of this area. The, what's her name? Karen Reed. So the case that some people have talked to us about talking about, I've followed a little bit, but it's about the cop death his ex-girlfriend is being tried for his death, but she's saying the cops set her up. I don't really know if I have a strong opinion about it one way or the other, but it's the same area that this girl was found deceased. And so now their case is getting a lot of attention because of that whole police force being questioned. And they had a separate, her family's attorney had a separate, what's it called, like medical examination autopsy thing looked at. That's not appropriate, the words you say.
But the family was like, we're going to get her autopsied by like a second opinion.
Or have the medical re-examined because, unfortunately she's been deceased for several years now. But their person said that the wounds are much more akin to strangulation than a hanging. So
and there's like fingerprints you can get on her.
But the thing is, if there was any other people involved in this and they knew, they probably would have covered it up for this guy because if they knew and they didn't come forward yet, then they're part of the problem. And so now the family's basically left with suing, like not a criminal lawsuit, a civil suit against the police force and those men. So that's unfortunately in a lot of these cases, Mica's family is also kind of in the same situation where they can't criminally charge them at this point because there's not enough evidence. Maybe that can change somehow, but instead they're going to have to take it to civil court because these cops have essentially gotten away with the R-ing and murdering of this girl.
I feel like suing the police is like fighting God. Like it's just like, whoa, I didn't know that could, whoa.
Yeah. So the FBI has its own issues, but it's kind of like you need to get the 4 levels up involved because if it's a good old boy situation, which we see over and over again happening.
It can happen again, especially if they have authority.
And they'll just push it away. So it takes national attention to get anything to happen.
So easy this case could have like gone under the rug because it's another case, of just like, oh, I don't know. We don't know. Look, whoa. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah. And this is so sick, dude. Like this little girl went to this program
for help,
for
like joy,
for safety, for like self-esteem. And these disgusting monsters just came in. Like they're not even monsters. They're pathetic fucking losers who've come in and done this. And I'm glad that there are people fighting. It's like literally like women citizens. It's not just women. There's men that were also helping, but like the people who run our Facebook pages and the people who work advocates for the family are all like these women who are have been like screaming and haven't been able to get attention. I wish I had known about this before. I hadn't heard this story at all.
I wonder if you were to murder your pregnant girlfriend, would you get less jail time if you aborted the baby? I don't know.
Oh, you mean as far as like
let me know.
How our rights are being taken away? I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carolina told me about that. I believe it's in. I forget where.
I thought it was Brazil.
Brazil. Yes.
I could be wrong.
I didn't want to speak out of my butt, but yeah. And there's like a stronger hold on abortions and criminalizing.
Well, they're trying to pass a bill, basically saying that you might get longer time if you get an abortion than if, like, I think it was like if a guy murdered
his girlfriend,
the woman who had the abortion could potentially face longer jail time.
It's almost like pro-lifers don't care about babies.
What?
What?
But that's their favorite thing to talk about.
Because we love to talk about child rights, which is like a very new thing on the human spectrum. I mean, they were working in the coal mine, like our grandparents, right? But I feel like child rights is such an easy way for a piece of shit to slide in and be like, yeah, I fight for the unborn. And I was like, no, you don't.
No, it's such a...
No, you don't.
It's such an excuse. They don't give a shit. But yeah, we talked about that on American Child Bride series a little bit, that it wasn't until the early 1910s, 1920s, when the term adolescent became a word. It used to just be little girl,
little bride, right. And I think clothing, there was no such thing as like child's clothing for a long time. It was just like adult clothes made tinier. That's because that's just what they thought of kids. It's like a small adult.
But then that's another really interesting piece of information that I don't have a reference, so I could be talking my ass, but I'm pretty sure this is a real thing, that the reason we see pink and blue as boy and girl is because clothing companies realized they could market clothing to
and
kids.
boy used to be pink.
Yeah, so that whole idea of the like, but it's God's gender colors. It's like, no, it was like, J.C. Penney's did that.
It's always money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Fuck yeah.
Box of Demons, important to point out that where she died is not the jurisdiction of the police that abused her different town, and which is another reason that actually they were able to kind of push it around, because they went like, oh, he was a cop here, but it wasn't on our grounds, and then they deal with it. Oh, but it was the cops, and they're done, and then they just sort of get to push paperwork back and forth.
God.
That also was happening with fucking Mica. When she was doing reports, there was a woman who reported JP for sending her lewd videos of himself, but she was reporting it, I think she was in New Jersey, and he was sending them from Myrtle Beach, and the cops were doing the same thing to her, being like, well, it's gotta, you're calling from here, it's them, and then they are like, well, it's happening down here, but you gotta call that other police people, and another time he got away with it.
Bureaucracy is I do like living in a place with law and order, but often the paperwork bureaucracy is used by bad people to just keep pushing away problems, because they know that you're not gonna, if you had something violent happen to a family member and you're seeking justice, you're not going to want to go to the courthouse, print out a stack of papers, and sit there with a number 2 pencil. You want to cry. They know this.
Yeah.
And that's why most laws that are the most vicious are boring. Have you watched C-SPAN?
Oh my God. It's so true. It's exactly what contracts are like too. You're
right.
just I guess so.
I don't know. But meanwhile, they're talking about are women people? They just use numbers and some code. I don't know.
That's a very funny South Park. Did you ever see the Human Centipede?
Yeah.
It's funny, guys. We got to laugh. If abortion is murder, then blowjobs are cannibalism. I agree.
That's right. That's a very funny joke.
Yep.
You should do stand-up.
Call me a cannibal, right? Call me a cannibal.
I once blew a guy in college who would only have pizza, Domino's, Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and that kind of shit, and his cum was chunky.
Do you think that's
right?
But you think it was from his diet?
I think it was from his diet. Yeah.
Any doctors in this chat?
And I blew him, and he broke up with me.
Well, I'm sure you're missing out on a good life you could have had with that guy.
But when we went to New Orleans, our tour guide, because I knew the tour guide from college, it was his best friend. And I was like, where is he? And he said he dropped off the face of the earth in 2016 because he was into drugs. And our friend was just like, hey, you should stop doing that. And he's like, you can't tell me what to do. And then just walked into the night, and no one saw him again.
Well, I imagine his cum would only be getting more calcified over time. It might have drowned or something. I don't know.
I blew a chunky cum dead man, I guess.
Don't you think that drugs might be more of what causes the semen?
Right. Let me know in the
issue?
chat. Do you think it's drugs or food? Can we do a poll on why his cum was chunky? Was it drugs or diet?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is medical. So yeah. Sorry guys, I know we have to be silly occasionally because it's very dark.
We have to. Pinky Pineapple says maybe you sucked out some kidney stones. I might have. Oh no. Poll is live. Why chunky?
I've had kidney stones. Well, I used to have them all the time as a teenager and in my early 20s, and I don't know that there's anything that they compare it to childbirth. I obviously don't know that side, but I can't express to you how painful they are.
Really?
I don't even know how to explain that pain.
Is that why he was like, oh?
Well, maybe it was relief.
Maybe.
Good Lord. Okay.
All right. I think
we're degenerates. I'm sorry. What's the poll?
It's almost over. I feel like I don't want to move on to the next topic. And you're like, and then she died the bad way. And I'm like, chunky cum was from drugs.
You got to get it all in there.
You do.
What's the poll?
It looks like diet. Diet wins.
Diet wins by far.
Yeah,
okay,
for
you're right.
sure.
I'm wrong.
What's the next horrible
and
thing?
I'm not going to check if that's real or not. We're just going to decide that's what happens.
Nope.
Pandora makes it easy for you to find your favorite music. Discover new artists and genres by selecting any song or album, and we'll make you a personalized station for free. Download on the Apple App Store or Google Play and enjoy the soundtrack to your life.
Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Unlike other brands, Ollie offers 5 flavors that are as nutritious as they are delicious, all made in U.S. kitchens without harmful fillers or preservatives. Head to ollie.com, tell them all about your dog, and use code HAPPYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit with a bonus. You'll get a storage container for a mess-free experience, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee if your dog doesn't lick the bowl clean.
Sherri Papini, everybody. Sherri
Yes,
Papini.
bitch.
So you guys might know that we covered her a while back, and one of the reasons we did was because the missing white woman syndrome is a big problem, and not because white women shouldn't be covered when they are gone missing, but because they get the lion's share of the media.
Because there was another woman that went missing around her time, but she was a woman of like a Hispanic descent, so she just didn't get the news coverage.
Yeah, there were several that we covered, and also another young woman who Sherri had gone to school with, whose name was Tara, has disappeared and still has never been found. And the guy who most likely disappeared her he never got charged with anything. It was her karate teacher, if anybody remembers that story.
And he's just on tender.
Yeah, he worked. I think we checked, and he works at his dad's jewelry store or something.
Boo. This makes me not trust people.
You do need to have a little discernment, but I think the takeaway is that most people are safe, but you just need to be aware of your surroundings and know that there are people you can't. It's not that you can't trust anybody.
Don't leave your drinks unattended, even if you I would leave my drinks unattended with all you guys for sure. But at a bar, just take it with you to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're safe here.
You're sad,
no,
Natalie. You're gonna drug me and
I
feed me to your dogs.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
I didn't fart on them.
Yeah, well, better not have. Honestly, I don't think they would care if you did.
They wouldn't know what was going on.
No, they'd be fine. Their lives are very nice. I don't think that they would
Right,
care.
they're doing a good time. So this lady, she has a history of being a bitch. Didn't she feed her kids rubbing alcohol so she could take him to the hospital and be like, I'm the mom.
Okay,
I'm
so
the mommy.
This is something that was actually revealed on the documentary. It was a very interesting series. One of our producers back here was just saying they can't watch it because she is too infuriating, and that is completely valid because it is a lot of her lying her fucking little ass off, but doing I'm
just a ghoul. I'm a small ghoul.
It was so scary. And the whole time you're watching it knowing all of it is completely fabricated. But her face is just you just want to slap her a little bit. I know that doesn't help anything.
Well, some people have never been told to shut the fuck up, and it shows.
So that is Sherri Papini. Her whole life shtick seems to be I'm a fragile, adorable, sweet, super mom girl. I'm just yay! Oh, hi.
I make my kids mac and cheese with bone marrow.
But but she has apparently had a whole lifelong history of really severe, obviously mental struggles, but the kind that cause a lot of lying and deception and manipulation. And she probably is kind of a stranger to herself, I would guess.
She's never been mad because she's so happy.
But she's filled with rage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the underbelly is just the seething, bubbling rage inside of her. Her sibling and a bunch of other people from her life were also interviewed on this series. And her sister alludes to like them having a bunch of trauma at childhood, and like her sister obviously still loves her, but is basically saying she has made up really weird things since we were kids, like to deal with whatever was going on.
Wasn't she like an Aryan princess or some bullshit?
So this is another thing that is very frustrating and angering about her story is when she faked her kidnapping and she decided to go home, or she was released, according to her, she basically starts to describe 2 Hispanic women were the ones who took her.
So they're like, now the cops are like, Hispanic women.
Yes, she gives full descriptions. They do the drawings. Have you seen these 2 women? And for obvious reasons, because we know that this was completely fabricated, that is so horrible to do, because you are essentially throwing this net out to a group of people who are already vulnerable, already discriminated against in the area, and then everybody's now staring at them like they're criminals. Women talked about how like they didn't want to travel together, Hispanic women in the area, because they were worried that seeing 2 of them together would like make people want to like hurt them or call the police. And as the cops were as she came back after 3 weeks of disappearing, there were a bunch of red flags. People inside of it, even as her ex-husband said in the doc, he said, the first moment I saw her in the hospital, my immediate reaction was like, oh, she made this up. But then I can see though why he wouldn't say anything, because I think some people get mad at him for that. That is such a hard thing to wrap your mind around.
Because he's probably like, no, I'm crazy. That's crazy talk.
He said he felt terrible because she hurt herself really badly. And so she's covered in wounds. And she's just like, she's crying. And he's like, oh my God, I'm a monster to ever question her.
Did she just go to a hotel and like punch herself in the face?
No, she stayed with her ex-boyfriend, who she also manipulated.
Right.
So she hurt herself in this whole situation. Her husband, whose name is Keith, that's the thing I would take away from this doc the most, if you guys ever want to watch it, is that he talks a lot. And what he has to say is really, really interesting. And he basically said, too, in this doc, like Sherri's sister, that he kind of half at the back of his mind knew that this wasn't real. But he could not admit to himself, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because he had caught her in little weird, inconsequential lies for years.
God, imagine him marrying someone that's crazy.
This is like...
And you got to be around him all the time. You get away.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of crazy, right? Like if you get married, that person's going to be kind of crazy no matter what. But when it's like dangerous in this way, that I don't know how anyone can really prepare for that. And also, even if you knew your spouse was kind of a liar, how could you ever believe that they would do something this like level? It was so shocking. Like the entire world kind of was shocked by the story. So I can imagine why a spouse would sort of just kind of gaslight themselves into being like,
it's okay.
There's no way she could have made this up.
Right.
To the point where, I don't know if anybody saw, but Eminem calls out Sherri Papini in his song Houdini that just came out.
That's so funny. He has dark hair now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Sure.
Wait, can you pull that lyric up? Caught sleeping and seeing the kid. You want to rap it, Amber?
Yeah, caught sleeping and see the kidnapping never did happen. Like Sherri Papini, Harry Houdini. I vanish into thin air as I'm leaving. Like, wow,
so I thought that
I'm
was
pretty
fun.
Good. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, have you ever considered rapping?
Being a rapper? I used to do, every time in New York, they had these like freestyle rap competitions, and I was always invited, and I would lose every time. And I was invited because I was just funny and would bullshit on stage, and like they never rhymed.
You went to freestyle rap competitions?
I don't know why. I'm like the token white girl who's just bad at it, and they're like, "Bring on Amber!" And I was like,
what?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because there's actual good rappers here, but whatever. I loved it.
You can't just drop this information on me in the middle of a stream.
I did a lot of freestyle rap back in my day. Oh, man.
I wanted to see you do this.
My favorite one was, my name is Emma Nelson, my name is Emma Nelson, my name is Emma Nelson. It was like that level of bad.
Would they call you back?
Yeah, every time.
That's amazing.
Every fucking time.
Oh, okay. There's one person already in stream saying a Kaikiki would buy Amber's rap album.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get it going. Yeah. So I do feel really badly for her husband. Like his life was ruined.
Yeah.
And he stood by her because he believed her. And of course he got villainized for that too, which I get. People were angry. She did a really awful thing.
Yeah, but he's trying to be a good man. He's trying to be a good man to his wife. And he's like, oh, yeah, my wife's a little crazy, but I got to stand by her side. I got to be a good husband. And now he's probably like mad. I'd be mad.
He said they don't speak to each other, but.
Do you think he's dating ever again? I don't
You asking?
No, I mean, I'm like curious to how he's like going through life again after he's been burned so bad.
I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna date or he is dating, but one thing I wish they hadn't done really, they put their kids in this doc a lot. Like, well, not they, he did. Mm-hmm. The doc did. I wish that their faces weren't shown because
they're tiny.
It's just like, they're going to get a little older and realize like how fucked up this is truly. Yeah. But he said something that was like you had brought up briefly before that was really shocking to me, that he found out after all of this happened because she went to prison for like 10 months. She eventually got arrested for making all this stuff up. She took a bunch of money from the victims fund from this, which some people think is why she did it. I personally don't think that's why she did it, but it was like a nice benefit for her to get a bunch of money.
She gets attention and money.
Yeah, I think it was more to get attention and to get her husband's unfiltered attention, get people to feel sorry for her and be like, oh, so this is something that he found out in the aftermath is innocently through his child just talking with him, playing a game. And the kid mentioned something about mommy's game or what mommy used to do. And he was like, what do you mean? What happened? And then the child basically innocently went on to explain that Sherri would make them intentionally sick so that they could go to the doctor. And so she could get that attention sort of in that Munchausen way. But I don't think she was ever diagnosed with that. But it was the same thing that she kind of did to herself where she would basically like soak rags in alcohol and wrap them around the kids' necks so they would breathe it in and get really sick.
Their lungs are burned.
And like throw up and stuff.
That's
and so
like forever.
It's not... I mean, she's not obviously not safe to be around them, and she has supervised visits with them allegedly, but she's also writing a children's book.
What? How?
Yeah, that's what she said she's doing. She hasn't paid back all the money she owes from the victims fund, and they're, I guess, just kind of like letting her not go back to jail right now for
what
it.
A bitch.
But yeah, so she's writing a children's book. Which is weird because that's also a thing that the woman who just poisoned her husband did, who was charged with poisoning her husband. She wrote a children's book about how to cope with the loss of a parent after she poisoned him.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
That's fucked up.
The LDS family, by the way. She poisoned her husband and then got all the attention from the death and then wrote a book about her son's coping with the death. And then she got caught being the person who killed him, and then she went to court.
Yeah, just write a book on that death. Now I'm looking at children's books like they're all sus. Like Good Night Moon. Who's that bitch? Who the fuck wrote that?
That was somebody famous, right?
Sure.
I don't know. They made that book. We all read it. We all read that book. Maybe I don't want to know about their life. Maybe we don't need. We know too much about everyone. We know too much. I'm sick of knowing about everybody.
We know a lot. Sometimes I'm just going through TikTok and I'm like, ma'am, in public? Like, I know this about you? There's this one woman, she's like, I can queef real loud. And it was just like so loud. And it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's funny. But I was like, whoa, that seems like it's private. But you go, girl.
This is definitely an era where shame has taken the back seat.
Right.
You know, somebody else is driving.
Somebody else. And it's not Jesus. He is not taking the wheel.
Nah, I don't think he'd be down with a lot of what's going on right now.
No.
But, yeah. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, too, with Sherri, the other really thing that kind of started making people question her story was they did find an old blog of hers from when she was, late teens, early 20s, talking about how she got into a fight. It was basically on an Aryan Nation website. Damn. And it was about how she got into a fight with Hispanic women and like all this racist stuff, and about how she was attacked for being like proudly white and all this stuff. And it's so bizarre because there's actually really crazy police interrogation footage, not the one that had already been released, but when they were asking her about all what had happened initially, they filmed all of it, the police force. And so we see a lot of this footage and them asking her about the website. And she's just like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to post on the internet till you're 18, at least 25 even. Because those opinions are forever. And you can be 13 years old, like thinking you're funny and it's not. And then now you know, you're 30 and you can't get a job. That just doesn't seem right.
I mean, depending on what you did, I think people are very forgiving of very young people.
Right.
She was, I think, at an adult at that point that she wrote this, and also kind of indicating, which is the story that she wrote is a thing that had a bunch of lies in it, provably, like about what her family did for a living and stuff, but it was written by her. They were able to trace it back to her, but
she's been a liar since day one, I
yeah,
guess.
I mean, this indicates a lot of stuff that's already going on up here, and obviously some strange contempt against Hispanic women. I don't know, but
yeah, what is it? She might have been jealous.
I mean, I think she's jealous of a lot of. I think she doesn't have, and maybe she's just like, there's nothing inside, because people pointed out that she took some of the story of Tara, who was actually disappeared from her school, and like used some of that story. And then they also noticed in this documentary that she took stuff from Elizabeth Smart's story, you know, like
that is psychotic.
Yeah.
This is a crazy bitch.
Yeah. Well, she's on the street, so don't worry about it.
Wow. She's on the dating apps.
She has a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend? Who?
I don't know.
I guess crazy pussy's fun. I don't know, but she's insane.
I think there's like, you know, there's a manipulation aspect. She embodies, in my opinion, that like victimhood. She makes that the personality, and there are people who want that to come swoop in and save.
Right.
You know, Casey Anthony got a bunch of boyfriends after.
Casey Anthony?
Oh yeah, she was living and working with the private detective on the case. I think it's a private detective, the one who worked on her case. She was like living with him for years.
And I can't get a boyfriend?
You absolutely can get a boyfriend,
I blew chunky
Amber.
cum and fucking baby murder has a husband?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can get a boyfriend.
I mean, I can, but do I want to?
That's the question.
That's the question. And I don't think I do. I enjoy my peace.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just, I recommend checking it out if you're interested in this kind of stuff. There is a lot of information in it. There's a lot of really, if you like watching police footage and stuff, I do watch a lot of interrogation videos for the show, and I do think it's really interesting. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it does give you a lot of really good information.
Silly by Witch says, just one more time before you guys check out, I wanted to bring awareness to about 16 teens missing in the Omaha, Nebraska area right now. They have all disappeared within the last 2 weeks and have been covered in the news on Nebraska, at least not that I know of, and haven't been covered on the news in Alaska. Please be extra careful of your teens. 16 teens, that's a lot. That's like a full party, like a bus of kids.
I don't know anything about that. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll definitely take a look. I'm just doing a quick search, but you say in Omaha? Okay. I'll look into that for sure. That's very scary. So yeah, be careful in Omaha.
Damn, being a teenager is
I'll look into
scary.
that, and maybe we can talk about it next week. Yeah, geez. Please be careful if you're out there, for sure.
548. We still have 10 plays silly video and read the Twitch comments and the subs.
Real quickly too. I just want to bring up Mica because I can't let this story go. It's really bothering me, and it's bothering a lot of people.
We need justice, and her piece of shit husband's still out there.
Yeah. So just the quick update on what's going on. The FBI is still involved. I think it's still financial crimes, but it is ongoing still. But there is a report was released about her. It's not an autopsy. What are they calling it? So essentially, because JP insisted on getting her body cremated really quickly, they didn't they weren't able to exhume her and like do more investigation. But they have released whatever they call a examination report, I think is what they call it. I'm trying to find where I wrote it down somewhere, but so some stuff that they've said in this, because the family is really convinced that she didn't take her life. I think probably that did happen. She died by suicide, but
it was coerced, and that's also a crime. I can't just be like,
it's supposed to. It's not a crime.
It's not?
I mean, that's what Mica's law they're trying to push about abuse being coercive, not just DV, not just physically bruising somebody, but coercive. I've been talking for an hour.
I know.
Coercive control. Abuse should also be a crime.
It is. It should be. There was a case a while back where a guy did end his own life, and then you look through the text, and his girlfriend was like, "You should kill yourself," like over and over again, and then she went to jail.
She did. I forget the name of that couple, but
Is it because the girl did it, and then she's going to jail, and then a boy did it, and he's not?
I do think that there is a lot to say that. Is it because he got special treatment for being the pastor in the area? Do you know that he got? So he had a felony for violent assault from his younger years that he got expunged from his record because he wanted to buy guns.
How do you get that expunged from your record? Assault? Like, I thought that was there forever.
But not only that, the local police gave him his own badge that he got to carry around in his car, so that if he got pulled over by police, he could say, "I'm a special boy."
He got the special boy badge?
He did.
Are we just making shit up now?
Yes.
And we can't delete school loans?
Yeah.
I don't understand. You can get assault taken off your record, but people have to pay thousands of dollars every month for some made up fucking loan bullshit for school?
Yeah.
I know they're two different things, but as long as we're making shit up here.
Yeah, I say put them together. Who cares? Yeah, he got like a pastor's badge from the local police force. So that's the kind of people that we're dealing with whenever Mica is like trying to reach out for help, which she did multiple times.
Yeah, I thought the law is the law, and you don't have the special boy badge.
No,
what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, it means that he didn't have to pay for speeding tickets, I guess.
You sped.
Yeah, well, not him. He was on God's time. So
fuck him.
So they basically have released the examiner's report, and it says that there's no drugs in her system as this sort of some people are kind of framing it for like saying, see, gotcha, like he didn't do anything. Like this is one of the headlines that just recently came up from the autopsy report. Mica Miller's mental health struggles included failed suicide attempt and THC dependency revealed in new report. But these kind of headlines are not describing the entire picture, and no headline can describe the whole picture, but this is not taking into account all of the things that people are trying to bring up about this case. It's not that there weren't drugs in her system and like, oh, then he's cleared. It's
weed?
That he had been forcing lithium on her, like giving her prescribed drugs that he was not allowed to be giving her for a long time, and drugs that he was supposed to be taking, she was being given.
That fucks up your like psychosis, your balance, your sight, everything.
And also this idea of being like, oh, she had THC dependency, so she obviously was crazy.
She deserved it. Boo.
Is ridiculous, but.
That's torture, yeah. Distal 553, that's torture.
It's torture, and if anybody has ever, this is just me throwing this out here, but if anybody has ever come off of substances because she had been forced, she'd finally escaped him, she probably stopped taking a bunch of medications that he was forcing her on. If anybody has ever come off of a substance, it makes you feel really, you start to have thoughts you wouldn't normally have.
Right.
I don't know if she was coming off of things because drugs make you feel crazy, but also if you're dependent on drugs, when they come out of your system, you think things you normally wouldn't think. I know this from personal experience. And you do hit a different state of mind. Was maybe something like that going on? I don't know. But just the point alone that they can't do a full autopsy because her husband, who she was trying to get an order of protection against, had her cremated.
That blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
He was just able to get rid of the evidence because she's his property. Let's remember that, ladies.
Yep. So, whatever. There's so much to break apart. We don't have time for it because we're at the end here, but go check it out. There's so many things there at the that people are saying about this examiner's report that I want to break down, because some of the stuff they're also saying that she had, like their personality disorders, are they getting that from JP? Are they getting that from a doctor who wasn't under the presence of JP? Like, who is giving this information to the medical examiners in the first place? Like, her husband, the one who has tortured her and made up a bunch of shit about her? Like, there's so much to break down.
I hope that he gets to flash his special boy badge in jail.
We'll see if he ever fucking goes. If he goes, I imagine it's going to be for financial crimes, but whatever it takes, I guess.
How do people get away with this?
I don't know. Okay, brighter side's coming, guys.
We're coming.
I do love that you get to do this after. We were saying that we're the Oppenheimer, you're the Barbie, right?
Right.
So thanks for the subs, Lord, Oxium, Beatty, Bigfoot, Panic, Bowtoon. Raven Hallow gifted 4 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Donna Party, I have bipolar disorder and I still wouldn't take lithium. They don't really recommend it first anymore. Yes, so that has come up quite a bit too, that he was taking lithium for his disorder, maybe because he desperately needed it, or maybe because he just decided that's what he's going to take, but he was giving it to her, saying that she had all of his diagnoses and she was getting these prescriptions to her that she definitely did not need. Like, I'm going to just say that point blank. She did not need that medication.
No.
And she was being forced to take it. So.
Oh, Raven Hollow says, I love y'all.
May you always have your meds. Yes.
Ooh.
Not anti-medication by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very pro-medication, but just the stuff that you should be prescribed. Right.
I take Tic Tacs. That's my medicine.
I tell her it's medicine and she takes them because she wants to be like me. So yeah, do we have a silly video to transition? Thank you guys for being with us. That was a lot of stuff today. Stick around for brighter side, and here's a transition fun video.
Where are the girls that are just super laid back and chill?
Where the hell are the good women at?
Where are the nice girls? I grew up with a lot of good girls. Now there's like none.
Where have all the good girls gone? It's the question that rattled a nation and led to a flurry of other questions. Where have the good girls gone? Why are they missing? And what is the government doing to take action? American men are pleading for answers.
First noticed something was off when I was on the app and couldn't find a girl that didn't care about partying or makeup. All of a sudden, I was like, whoa, where are the good girls at? I knew something was wrong, so I immediately called the police.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I'm on Hinge trying to find a good girl, but I haven't been able to find anything, and I think something might have happened to them.
Have you tried checking Tinder?
Yeah, nothing.
All right, I have a unit on the way. Just stay on the line with me, okay?
Okay, thank you. I'm just so scared.
We'll keep you updated as the story unfolds. My name is Francine Beluga, and this is Channel 6 News.
In this search, of course, they're making fun of it, but have those people looking for the good girls ever just considered that they themselves are garbage?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, I guess not.
I love you guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Hey, this is Will Arnett, host of Smartless. Smartless is a podcast with myself and Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, where each week one of us reveals a mystery guest to the other two. We dive deep with guests that you love, like Bill Hader, Selena Gomez, Jennifer Aniston, David Beckham, Kristen Stewart, and tons more. So join us for a genuinely improvised and authentic conversation filled with laughter and newfound knowledge to feed the Smartless mind. Listen to Smartless now on the SiriusXM app. Download it today.
Hey everybody, Conan O'Brien here with an ad about my podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I've had so many fantastic conversations with people I truly admire, people like Michelle Obama, Bruce Springsteen, Maya Rudolph, Tom Hanks. New episodes are out every Monday, and we have a really good time, so subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.